Hello everybody, this is Doctor, and with me today is Typical Manga Fan. Today we're going to be doing a Attack on Titan, Chapter 65, Dreams and Curses. And in this chapter we start not quite where we left off, but with kind of the same person. We're in the past with Kenny Ackerman. He's talking to his grandfather, who's on his deathbed. Apparently he's been killing military police, which isn't that where Kenny is now? He's part of the military police, or is he like the secret band of them?
Well, I mean, you remember he has his own like faction. I mean, you got they I think Levi once said like, yeah, why are you part of the military police? You know, weren't you like, didn't you always hate them? And I think he responded like saying like, yeah, but this is different or something. So obviously, the reason why he did it was because of a special reason. So yeah, this is just reinforcing his past.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a question here in the next page I want to kind of bring up with you, because I don't know if you'll have a better memory for this than I do, but as we go along. Anyway, Kenny's going on, he's talking about the family he's found so far. Like, he found his sister working in a brothel, got herself pregnant, and she insists on having the kid. So he also mentioned the branch family. One branch of the family that's moved to Shina district. Is that the one that got overrun by...
It's pronounced Shiganshia.
Shiganshia? Okay.
Is that, yeah.
And that's the one that got overrun by Titans, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. In that case, that kind of leads to my question here in a bit. But people got in the way of their business there, too. Seems like they're still poor, is what he's telling them. He's wondering why the Ackermans are apparently so hated by everybody. Like, why, when they used to be very close to the crown. I very nearly said clown there. Why they're so close to the crown.
And of course, this is something we've all predicted, and I think we got it right, pretty much. Like, yeah. I will say, though, do you think the Branch family is Mikasa's father?
That's what I was going to wonder about myself, because they also go into on the next question. Like, the next thing they explain is that there are certain bloodlines that could not be affected by the memory wipe. There's like a big old explanation for it, but basically the gist of it is that it can only affect like the majority bloodline, like the same race of people that make up the most of the people of the city.
Yeah,
the walls.
And basically anyone who isn't essentially German, I guess, is immune.
And because along with the Ackermans, he specifically mentions the Asians, and Mikasa is an Asian, like one of the last ones they know.
Yeah, but she's also an Ackerman, because the Ackerman came from the dad, and the Asian came from the mom, so she's got both.
Exactly. So there is something special in those two bloodlines. She's got it times two.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's just amplifying, or it's just I don't know if it's just the author trying to make Mikasa even more special. But ultimately speaking, it just means we've always known that she's going to be immune to the memory wipe. Let's see. So yeah, and of course, he explains everything about the royal government and how they used to be part of the royal government, at the royal government side, and I guess things changed apparently.
Yep. Like I said, basically the king initially just got these other races to just work with him rather than against him. Like the role we can rule together kind of thing.
Yep.
Like I said, the Ackermans stepped down, and I think that what they say, another race too, or another bloodline. It's kind of scheming over here real quick.
They said the Asian bloodline and the Ackerman house were the two big ones.
Okay.
And of course, he said that the parents decided not to pass along the history to the children because the ignorance is bliss, and they realized they believe that if the kids did not know about the history, then there's no reason for them to rebel. But right. I guess the king was really paranoid, and he wanted to cut loose ends. So I guess he said, you know what?
Get rid of the other bloodlines that can be aware of it, even if they don't know it.
Well, yeah, and I think that backfires, of course, because if he does it, then obviously they would rebel no matter what.
Right, because it's a matter of survival at that point.
Yeah, which is kind of stupid, and honestly, it makes the king even more of an asshole. So, for people who are trying to get on the king's side, I mean, it's not working. Okay.
And the kings did this even despite the fact that apparently the current head of the Ackerman gave his own life for their protection.
Yeah. So the king's an asshole.
Yep. Well, we knew that.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of fans were starting to believe the king, but I think
I'm not entirely sure he was lying about a lot of it, especially with what Kenny says a little bit later here. But at the same time, that doesn't stop him being an asshole.
No, I mean, I don't mean like what he says, but I mean believe him as saying he actually cares about people and that stuff. That I don't think that's true. I think he just cares about power.
And all this makes it very, very satisfying when the next page when the flashback ends and we see Kenny's got a gun to his head.
Yay! Honestly, as long as he has to shoot it, though, I have to say that.
Well, it's still nice to see.
Yeah, well, what is not nice to see is Krista getting, oh, father! Ugh, man, I hate Krista.
Well, like I said, I can at least see her being worried about a family member, even if he is an asshole.
I still hate
Anyway,
Krista.
whatever. Anyway, like I said, and like we said, like Bryce asks if Kenny thinks he's lying, and Kenny actually is pretty sure he's not because this is the one time that he couldn't lie, or at least couldn't risk lying, because if he lies to Krista and she works it out, she's going to turn against him. He has been honest, at least, to try and manipulate her. He might have left stuff out, but he has not lied.
Yeah. Well, of course, what I like about Kenny is that he pretty much is saying what a lot of people are trying to say at this point. Like, he's bitching out the king, and he's apparently he had a good relationship with his brother, the guy who was eaten by Frida.
Yep.
And so it's interesting about this brother guy. He's apparently both Frida and the brother, the uncle of Frida, seem to be very nice people. So one would wonder why did they decide not to. They didn't seem like power hungry people. So there must have been a reason for why they decided not to eliminate the Titans. Was there something worse than Titans out there? Are the Titans actually for the humans' protection?
That is one thing I have wondered. Like it kind of the theory I talked about before we started all this, and I do have a theory based on what we have in this chapter. One thing that it did come up with just off the cuff was if Titans like a line of defense against something else entirely, like you just said. But so my theory is not really about that. But anyway, we'll get to that in a bit. But I think there might be something to that, depending on how this goes, because at the very least we know there's at least one hostile faction outside the walls.
Supposedly, I mean, we don't really know too much about them though.
Yeah, I mean we have the Beast Titan and
the just the normal guys,
and the Sifters.
Yeah, and the Annie and Reiner and Berthold. Yeah. But one wonder, weren't they also technically on the side of humanity? Like, didn't they say that they actually were supporting humanity, but in like a different way or something?
Yeah, true. I mean, like I said, I wonder now they might be part of another race that is also immune to the mind control.
Well, they're foreigners, so they probably would be.
Right. I mean, they have like the Germanic names, but they could easily have just been aliases.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, who uses Berthold?
Someone who doesn't know how names work?
Okay. Right.
Anyway, Krista Historia, she does grab Kenny's gun to try and protect her father, but even he's like, "Oh, you poor thing."
And this is what I wanted. This Kenny is being awesome. He's saying everything that I wanted to say to Krista right to her face. He's like, "Dude, did you not understand? Like, he wants to turn you into a monster, eat your friend," and she gives him that dirty look. Like when she looks at Eren, I'm just like, oh, this is where I just stopped and just like, oh my gosh, this is like the third time she's given that look. Yeah. Stop it, okay? He is not responsible for you. I don't care if it's like some type of reaction, like reflex to to someone. I mean, I know that if you meet the son of like your kid's like your dad's murderer or your kid's murderer, it's not you feel uncomfortable. But at a certain point, you're just kind of like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't care if you're like what 16, 15. Yeah. This is just no. There's no reason to hate Eren. Well, like, he's just a kid, and of course there's another reason that we explain later. Like he's been nice to her this entire time. She knows he didn't know. Yeah. What the hell, Krista? And
at the same time, it's kind of weird because like she gives him the dirty look, but then she also goes on to declare that pretty much the same thing as Eren is always doing. Like she's going to take this power. She is going to eat Eren. She's gonna bring her sister back. I don't know if she means that literally or just figuratively.
Oh my gosh, she's so stupid. She probably think it's literal. I don't know. Yeah. Like that. There's the only way it would actually make sense is she gains her sister's memories, but that's not really bringing her back. I mean,
well, it's as close as she can get without knowing for herself.
But that's not. But
really she also might get back.
Her back
right? She might also get back her own memories of her sister. Remember, those are blocked off from her as well.
Maybe that's what she means.
Yeah.
But
the way it's worded just makes it a little ambiguous, though. Anyway,
well, maybe that's the point.
But she does finish off by declaring that she's going to wipe the world clean of the Titans. That is her mission, which seems to affect Eren because that's pretty much what he's always wanted. She can actually do it.
Yeah, and of course, but it's just annoying that she's just doing it very. She does it in a very quick, manner. Like she's not even like somewhat. Just like trying unsettled by it, like, oh, I'm actually killing a friend. Is this wrong? Is this right? She's like, oh no, I'm doing it, which kind of shows that she still hates Eren, and she's like, because she sees it as a duty, It's very easy to say it's a duty, but remember, this is a guy she's known for a long time. It shouldn't be this easy,
Right, and then Kenny, I think, is continuing to say the things you'd want to say, because as he points out to her, her father does not care. She was just a bastard from a mistress. That he had because he couldn't keep it in his pants, and pretty much just disregarded until she was necessary. And pretty much her mother only had her because she wanted to get in with the royal family, or at least with the Rices, because she wouldn't have known they were royal, obviously.
Yeah. I will say this though. I'm this is like literally summing up everything. I just want to spit back at her. Is the author like actually listening to our podcast here?
We've only done one, so I highly doubt it.
Who knows? Maybe he's bored one day. You know, who knows? I'm sure they work hard though. So he's probably very busy. But
yeah, and there might be other like fan things that have similar thoughts as we do. I mean, I doubt you're unique, and it's what we've been saying. We've said here is really unique.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, definitely. The comment section of Manga Stream has been ripping Krista. Like even after this chapter, I will say this though. Just look at her face. Like she's like, oh, you know, I hate you, or the anger face. You know, it's just like stop giving me that face. You're such a, you know, this is a terrible time to do it. And of course, yeah, he does. You know, he basically says, yeah, I was, you know, ordered to kill your mom. But it's kind of funny. He received orders from the council, right? So why is it that the king can't overrule the council? Does that mean that the council, in a way, has a lot of power that can, you know, at least be equal with the king?
That, or perhaps even, well, when you say the king, do you mean Rice?
Yeah, the Rice. Yeah.
Well, part of that could be that they don't know about the real royal family either, do they? Do they know that the king was just a figurehead?
No, they do. They do.
Okay.
Because I remember when the king was found out, the false king, they're like, "Wake up, you idiot!" You know, they found us out or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember something like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, a king rules by consent of the people. If he does something like he goes too far or acts too much on his own, they could potentially turn on him.
Potentially. But he can just memorize, you know, use memory wipe on them. Unless they're part of the family that...
Well, no, right now he can't.
Why? Wait, why? Oh, because he doesn't have the power. Oh, because he doesn't have the Titan power.
Right.
Right?
Right, because the reason they needed Krista in the first place because everyone else had died. And the reason everyone else died was because Papa Jaeger took all the power.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, he's like, yeah. So why did he suddenly just love you after everyone died? Like, I think I said in the last podcast, like, yeah, doesn't he seem kind of weird that he suddenly decides to go after her right when everyone dies? I mean, that kind of seems really weird to me, you know. Yeah.
And then, like I said, Kenny continues to point that very fact out. He just needed her bloodline, and mostly because he didn't want to do it himself. Like because he could just easily have done all this himself without even needing Krista at all. But nope.
Yeah.
And is he just like jamming a knife in his mouth?
I don't care. It looks funny to me.
Hey, there you go.
I mean, is that blood's coming out, or is that just like the
sound? I think the first panel with sound effects. I think after that there might be a little bit of blood.
Oh, I mean, yeah, the first panel is definitely sound effects. It's actually making like a you know, something like a written word.
Yeah.
Kind of hiragana. I forgot what it's called in Japanese, but
hiragana for their own words. Katakana when it's like a foreign word.
I'm assuming it's hiragana, right?
Actually, I think it's katakana. I know those pretty well.
Okay.
But either way,
either way, international, right?
Yeah. Either way, it's like like the Crunchyroll version, the actual English version is showing like a ZZZT next to it.
Okay.
Anyway.
So grunts are international.
Yeah. Okay. And then he points out that he tried to cover up the fact that Frida and his other children were killed by and the power of the Titans was stolen. So and again, that might explain why he didn't overrule them, because if they suspected that power was gone, the council.
Oh, yeah, then they could turn on him. What's
easily.
The point of him?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it also shows that Kenny's actually he's actually pissed off about lives too.
Yeah.
So he's not cold. You know, he's not heartless. Although he does seem to kill without, you know, much regard. Of course, and now Krista finally he's like, holy shit, you know, he's actually I think he has a point.
Right. Of course, all this stuff is stuff he might not have considered, at least not in the heat of the moment. So Kenny is kind of, but like I said, it's. Well, yeah, you're right. It's pretty much like it is making her realize that there is something she needs to be thinking more about here.
Yeah, well, Kenny is the only one with the brain here. So, I will say this though. When she said, it's a callback because I thought I mentioned it. But when Krista said, "Is my duty," and then Aaron has this really shocked face, I was able to correctly predict what Aaron wanted to do at that moment. I predicted it correctly. Because there was only one way. Because it was exactly what Aaron wanted, and we all know that, you know, Krista and Historia has the power. So, and Aaron's been suffering a lot of guilt lately, so I knew what he was going to do. So I'll just leave that right here.
Yeah, because we're going to get that in a minute here anyway.
Yeah, and of course the king, the Rice. I'll just call him the king because I forgot his first name.
That's fine. I don't remember his name either. I just told him Rice because that's the only other Rice in the room is Historia. So.
Yeah, but yeah, the king says he can't become a Titan. And there's a reason, and he hasn't said what the reason is, so we don't know. Right. But wonder what that reason is.
Also, credit where it's due, he's grabbing that knife by the blade. They pull it out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
asshole he may be, but still, you gotta admit that's impressive.
Yep. And still, I hate. Well, it's whatever. He has to. He's I don't know. I still hate the guy, but yeah.
That's fine. I mean, he's not. They say he's not meant to be loved anyway. Anyway.
Uh, tell that to Krista.
Yeah.
Okay, so your ambition will not be realized. So yeah, they're talking about his brother's decision. So this brother guy is also is again being praised, and of course he talks about having humanity and peace and all that crap. But we all know that it's just a really warped view of it. He's
right,
and he does this thing in the manga scene where he says "live long and prosper." And I have to admit, I have to see Star Trek. Then.
Yeah,
I don't even watch Star Trek. I know that because I watched the movie for once.
Yeah, Crunchyroll's version is like find something else to live for. Live a long life. You're free now.
They're probably just thinking like, yeah, let's avoid that.
But Kenny just pretty much just turns away. That wouldn't be very fun, and just walks away.
Yeah. So he just doesn't want to live. I mean, he wants to actually. Oh, he doesn't want to survive. He wants to live. Quote from Wall-E, by the way.
Of course, before he leaves, he does like release Aaron's gag, which means he'll have a chance to turn into a Titan himself.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to make sure that Aaron actually has a chance to, do something about it.
What he does with it from there is up to him.
At least Aaron could talk, because I was kind of sick of Aaron just listening. I'm like, yeah, can you just say something? And of course he's like, yeah, and of course we all know Aaron's just he's not gonna do it. I'm not gonna even. I read the chapter, but we all knew at this point. Like he was not going to do it. Otherwise, it would have made no sense. We all knew that Aaron was kind of like, yeah, let's just let her eat me, basically.
Yeah. Like I said, we're still not there yet, though.
Yeah, but it's still really, really obvious.
But it's like Kenny kind of like he's actually sounding a bit like Aaron here now that I think about it. Like the way it's pronounced here is like, you want me to keep breathing until the day I keel over of natural causes? Can you even call that living?
Yep.
Because that's pretty much Aaron's feeling about living behind the walls.
Stop making me like Kenny, because I know he's probably going to die soon. Stop making me like him.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Anyway, speaking of liking and not liking people, at that moment the king seems to go crazy because he has a mad look in his eye when he holds the needle up to Historia.
Okay, yeah, we all know he's losing it. So that at least for the audience, we all know that okay, something's wrong. Like there's no way I can trust this guy. Krista is also shocked, but
Yep.
Krista.
Of course, like he explains to him that it'll become a Titan. She'll lose control, but there's still the chance while Aaron's in restraints, like I said, and specifically, she doesn't need to eat Aaron exactly. She just needs to bite through his spine and just spinal fluid.
That's really darn specific.
Yeah.
I wonder why they didn't just stick with eating him. I mean, is that going to come into like play later on or something?
Might be for later. I think in this case it's just that she knows exactly what she's supposed to be doing. What if she eats it, but for some reason like misses the spine somehow?
Huh. Well, let's
see.
That's
how in Titan form, it might at least stick in Titan form.
Yeah. So Historia then is like, okay, let's do this, and then she stops, and she looks at Aaron, and Aaron is not turning into a Titan, and she's confused, because she thought that Aaron would try to fight for his life, but as it turns out, Aaron's like crying, and then I guess this is where Krista finally gets that feeling like, oh shit, I think I've been hating the wrong guy, and rightfully so.
Right, because as Aaron explains, like if his father had not done what he did all those 5 years ago, her sister would still be able to take care of everything. All because his father stole the power of the Titans from its rightful place. So many people had died between now and then. Armin's grandfather, others like Marco, Hans, everyone in Squad Levy.
Yeah, and of course, and obviously the Titan shifters wouldn't have that much power because they would probably be sworn by the other Titans, had they kept attacking. And of course, but I would argue that I don't think what his father did was completely 100% wrong. Like obviously, killing people is obviously bad, blah blah blah. But at the same time, though, the status quo was still bad. Like you have to understand that even though people were surviving, they weren't living. They were just stuck in an area, being afraid for basically their entire existence. And I think Aaron's dad wanted to change that. And I think in the end, long term, humanity will benefit more. First, is from a story's perspective, humanity will benefit more from Aaron's dad's decision.
Yeah, short term, it's a bit of a nice job breaking it, Hero, but
Yeah, and of course, Aaron has a lot of guilt, so he's just self-loathing at this point.
yeah, yeah, and this is kind of like the theory I'm going to talk about after we're done with the chapter here. But
Yeah.
anyway, like he's pretty much Aaron is just telling her that she can go ahead and do it, eat him and save humanity. It's up to her now.
And yeah, again, Chris is just shocked and surprised, and you know what? I guess now she's just realizing that that she's not talking to a killer. She's talking to a human being in front of her, and of course, a friend. Yeah, finally, someone suddenly decided to grow something in their heads for once.
Yeah. Like I said, I remember he tweeted earlier that you thought that Krista had no spine. My first thought, well, wasn't the point of this kind of to rectify that? Because that's what she has to eat.
Are you sure he's not? The author isn't listening to our podcast.
No.
It's like answering everything I've been saying.
Well, at the same time, though, you tweeted that today. So you probably tweet stuff earlier about it.
Well, he can probably go back in time and do it. I don't know.
The author's a Time Lord. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so she does it. She's starting to tighten out, and our rescue team is like, "Oh hell, this ain't gonna be good."
Well, I just wanted to talk about it was just sad to see him say like I'm Aaron being the guy who said I will destroy the Titans, because he kept saying I will, but it's so sad just to see so much guilt on this one poor. He's like what, 16? That's so sad. Like it's you imagine that's 4 years younger than me, and so it's like ridiculous how young he is and how much pain and suffering and responsibility was put on him, and I think he's just so tired of it, and saying I was not necessary, it is a really big deal, and it's really sad to see. And of course, I think
I'm not sure if he's saying he wasn't necessary, just that what his father did wasn't necessary.
No, he says I wasn't necessary. At least the manga stream says that. It says I wasn't necessary. Yeah.
Oh, well.
In that really big panel, the really big panel, he's like he said that my father wasn't necessary, and then he listed all these people.
Oh,
and then he ended with I was not necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, it says on Crunchyroll, I never needed it to happen. I never needed to happen.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing. And then of course, Historia gets a vision of her sister. I think maybe she said the same thing.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. And of course, now Historia again is feeling really sad. And I think now she's feeling really bad, and maybe she's starting to have some regrets. And then she said this: "When you call me a normal person, it made me really happy." And I think at this point is when she finally made peace with Aaron.
Yep.
Of course, she's still going to eat him because it's again she sees that she sees it as something she has to, not what she wants to do.
Right. She sees it as a duty, and also as something for Aaron at Aaron's request too, like his final wish.
I think it's become less of a duty, more of Aaron doing it, because I think I don't think she understands what her duty quote unquote means, because she just learned all this today. Duty is a very big term. I don't think she understands what it means. So I'm not gonna say it's because she does it because of duty. I'm just gonna say she does it because of Aaron's request.
Okay.
Or maybe a combination of the two, but more of Aaron's request.
Yep. And we're starting to get and the final panel of the chapter looks like at least a glimpse of Titan Historia.
Yeah.
Her body's like forming, I guess.
And she's supposed to be like the strongest Titan, at least because he can pick out a Titan that he wants, or something like that.
I don't know how much control they have over that, like over what it is. I mean, the whole idea of picking out a Titan is that you, at least for the shifters, is you eat the person with the power you want.
He probably has some formula. I don't know. We don't know much. It probably doesn't really matter. Yeah. But so we see Historia's Titan come out. So now we can add Historia to the list.
Yep.
Who would have thought that when they watched the anime? Because Historia was like nobody back then. Who would have thought she actually would become a Titan for once?
Well, she was a nobody until they revealed she was the bastard child of the king.
Yeah, and that wasn't even until just really last year, basically. I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's my theory about all this. All the stuff Aaron talked about here. If I remember right, like I said, I may have the timing slightly wrong here, so feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. But the colossal Titan attack that started the whole series off when they were young.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Did that happen? That happened around the same time as all this stuff with Aaron and his father, right?
Yeah, it happened. It happened before the Frida was killed.
The colossal Titan was before Frida was killed?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Because the big thing was that Frida was already down in the church praying. That means that the Titans were already attacking, and it was already nighttime. So two things are already going for that.
Okay, so maybe that does throw my theory off a little bit then. But here's what I was wondering anyway. What I was thinking. Basically, my thinking was that um, with the power to control the Titans that the Rice and them had, there really wasn't actually very much danger from the Titans for the people. Basically, like their status quo was not as bad as it looked, at least in the sense of how horrible life was.
Yeah.
Because there really wasn't any threat of the Titans at all, because the Rice could just send any Titans that wandered close away. Meanwhile, you remember how it's been mentioned, like you got the Scouting Legion. Like these are the people that would actually want to innovate, the people that would want to stop the Titans, the people that would want to change the status quo. What easier way to get rid of them by letting them do what they want and getting killed by Titans?
Okay.
Meanwhile, you have like the best equipped people. Like I said, it was pointed out right at the beginning of the series that all the best of the best are actually put into like the people close to the royal family and close to the inner city, so that they wouldn't actually be fighting Titans, because they're both competent and loyal, and or not even interested in making a change. So they're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the Scouting Legion, they're the people. They're the misfits. They're the people that would actually the potential rebels. So you put them there. You send them out. Let the Titans have their snacks. Let them think they're doing something useful when in fact they're not doing anything at all other than what you're letting them do. Anyway, like I said, the core of my theory is based on the fact that with the Rice family in power and with the whole coordinate ability under their full control, there is no danger to the city at all. Like the biggest hole in my theory I could think of before you point out the timeline was like the whole before the fall side series they have, which is a Titan attack like 70 years ago, 7 decades ago.
Yeah.
But basically, like, Titans wander by, Rice just shoot them away. The Scouting Legion goes out with the potential rebels and potential status quo changes. They can get eaten. Everyone else lives a fat, happy life. Anyone gets uppity, just erase their memories and or get rid of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And then along comes Papa Yeager, and he goes a big old spanner in that job by killing Frida, getting the power of the Titan himself, and now there's no big defense against the Titans. They actually can attack if they get the opportunity to, which is what the Colossal Titan gave them. Like I said, actually here, I'm going to add to my theory here based on that. I'm going to theorize that somehow Frida might have, either because of something like Yeager Sr. did, possibly, Frida may have either lost or saw the power weakened. Her power to control Titans weakened right before her death, right around the time this was happening. So because is it possible? Of course, do you know if it's possible for the coordinate power to actually control like a Titan shifter, or is it only the primitive Titans?
Only primitive Titans have been shown.
Okay. Of course, then again, the only time the power was shown in effect was when Eren first awakened it, so we don't know. Maybe if it can be controlled, it can shoo them away too, or detect them.
Well, the problem is there's the intelligence factor. I mean, these Titan shifters have too much intelligence, so I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, that one's. Like I said, it's not as. Like I said, I figured it'd be kind of full of holes once I actually got it out there, especially with the timeline being
the issue was that if Frida had that power, she wouldn't be able to control Eren's dad when he became a Titan, right?
Possibly. I mean,
there we go.
Because one thing I see here is like that might be why they're chained up, so that they can't like use whatever power they have on that. Yeah. Like that's why they're chained up and gagged, so they can't use it even like in desperation upon their death. Because one thing about this series is even the people who try to go out like bravely and such, they pretty much scream and cry when they die.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think that I don't think that they have the power to control other Titan shifters, just because there's in some opportunities when they did, like when Frida was attacked by Eren's dad, she didn't use it, and there was no reason for her to have a ability weakened. So I don't think Titan shifters are going to be one. I will say though that another hint that Titan shifters may not be effective is that although we don't get confirmation that the Ape Titan was a Titan shifter, he has abilities similar to the Coordinate, where he can actually not only he can control Titans, but he can also turn people into Titans, like using a similar formula. Like
he's also the only Titan we've seen who can speak, even among the shifters.
Yeah, it's because their jaws weren't made for that. That's why.
Right, so he might be just an unusual exception there.
Yeah. Also, obviously, I think the Titan shifters just you need a little more fat. You need a little more basis for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, like I said, if the intelligence factor is in there, like I said, right when they first turn into Titans, like that, they are uncontrollable. So there could be something into that. But again, like I think you're right though. There might be something more to how the coordinate power works that makes it easy to control like the basic Titans, but not the shifters.
Yeah, I think intelligence is just the main factor. Okay. So anything else?
I think that, like I said, my main theory is just more about how the system worked on there and the real risk to the city versus what we're seeing now that the coordinates out of the picture. So
wait, so you say wait. Your main theory is that what about the Colossal Titan again?
Well, I had thought that maybe like the Colossal Titan had attacked because the coordinate was out of the picture. Like they either realized or sensed it, and then that's when they chose their moment to strike.
Oh no, that is definitely not true.
Yeah.
Because they even stated that when they found out that the coordinate was no longer in reach, they changed their plans. So
yeah,
their original plan was different.
Yeah, and I'm remembering that now that you say it on there. I forgot that along with that how they were all huddled in the church because of the Titan attack.
Yep.
That was the part I had forgotten about specifically. So I had a feeling there's something off with the theory there, but at the same time, it's like I said, there's still something to it though. Like I said, I think there's still like the base part of it is still valid, at least as a theory. Like the Rice could at least have been protecting the city from the base Titans all along. I just don't think they've expected anything from the other Titan shifters that they even knew about them.
Okay. Well, here's what I wanted to say first.
Okay.
First off, I think I'm just gonna reread because I'm reading some of my tweets that I said to you, and the first thing I said was his story has no spine.
Right.
Yeah.
Once again, this whole thing was meant to rectify.
Take Aaron's spine, huh? Get your own, Yeah. Make your own. Get your own spine. Get your own backbone,
I'm getting my own Twitter feed up so I can kind of double check what you said here.
So the second one was I said the king is still getting what he wants, which is really suspicious because he still wants all this. And I said, Frida and her uncle seemed like very nice people. They seem to be the type of people who would have Historia's view and hey, let's destroy the Titans. So there must be something in the memories that makes them change their minds. Meaning the Historia, if she gets the memories, might change her mind.
Which I believe is what he's counting on.
Yeah. So is she gonna break her promise to Eren when she finds out? Or is it because maybe they get this realization that there's an even bigger threat out there, and that the Titans are actually protecting them, which is why they don't eliminate them?
Yeah, that is something I kind of considered as well when I was theorizing about all this, and like I said, you kind of beat me to it in this case. But yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility there, whether it's the other shifters, because like I said, even because the Titan shifters are vulnerable to the Titans as well.
Yeah, I mean, didn't the Armor Titan have a lot of issues fighting against some of the Titans?
Yeah, that and the other Titans will go for them the same as they would for humans.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously even though they're smarter, the number would be an issue. Although I'll say this though, if there are 3 of them from a village, there might be a lot more. So even though they might be outnumbered in the long term, like in especially around that area, if there's like a group of Titans, intelligent Titans, they could probably win a fight against maybe even like 50 brainless Titans.
Yeah, because like I said, the brainless Titans aren't that difficult to deal with if you know what you're doing. It's the shifters and those rare little unusual ones that you have to worry about.
Yeah, because Eren in his first time was able to kill like 10 of them, and Annie not only has the ability to is better in terms of combat, but she also has the ability to crystallize. And of course, there's also other special abilities that other Titans have too.
Like the Armor Titan and his defenses, the Colossal Titan just being big ass.
Yeah, but he's also ridiculously slow.
Yeah.
And of course, one would argue, why is he the only one that disappears completely?
Well, all the Titans kind of do it. Like once the form drops, or at least disintegrates a little bit.
But they all have skeletons and all that stuff.
Yeah,
flesh
true.
And all that. But the Colossal Titan there's no trace. And you know what? You know what's really weird? Bolto never ever turned to the Colossal Titan on screen, which made me very suspicious. Maybe I'm just overthinking that one.
Maybe.
But this should be some reason for why he never does it as often as say Annie did.
Maybe since he's so much bigger than they are in Titan form, like maybe like the mass is more spread out, so it like dissipates faster. I don't know.
What? It dissipates faster? How does that work?
Well, like let's say like there's like so much that goes into being a Titan. Like when you change, it's the same amount for Berthold, but he's so big. Like there's like it's like thinner, so to speak.
So you're saying he's unstable? That's basically.
Possibly, or at least like not so much unstable. It's just like maybe the transformation isn't that. Well, I guess stable is one way to put it. It's like thinner. Like it's not like as I can't think of the right word here, but it's like if let's say there's like 100 units of Titan power in each person. Like when Eren or Reiner or Annie transform, they're roughly the same size, so it's all kind of roughly about that. But when Bertold changes, like it's 100 units, but it's like spread over a much larger area.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So each area disintegrates quickly because there's less of it in each surface area.
Yeah, like I said, there's probably a better way to explain that, but you got the idea.
Yeah, I get it. I think also maybe because he needs more time to turn into a Titan, so he can't always do it as frequently. Because remember,
Again,
turning into a Titan
probably
too
because
much.
he's probably because of
Yeah,
that size too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because he needs a lot more time to change to Titan. So and also turning into a Titan a lot does provide. It's not good for your health, obviously, because Aaron found that out the hard way.
Right, like they did. He lost more and more of his mind the more he did it in short bursts.
Yeah, and it also gets nosebleeds and his poor health and all that, and he
Yeah.
doesn't regenerate as quickly.
And again, and probably because he's such a bigger Titan, maybe this have a bigger strain on him too. Is Bertolt the one who was going crazy? I forget.
It knows Rhino's going crazy.
Okay. Like Reiner's the one who's like losing his mind.
Okay, and I think the next thing I said was that I don't want his story to be the main character because I don't want it so that somehow like she eats Eren and then the story switches to her point of view like Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that would happen here. I really don't. At worst, it would change to Mikasa.
Yeah, I'd rather have Eren because honestly, Titan fights are awesome. So,
Yeah.
and at this point, I kind of feel so bad for Eren.
Yeah.
I don't think he should die this way. I think he needs to
exactly.
get back up.
There's that, and then there's also the way things are right now with Historia. Either they're going to find some way to de-titan her, or she's going to find some way to get control of herself without eating Eren.
Or she dies.
Or she dies. Yeah.
I feel like the dying part is actually what's going to happen. I think she might die. Yeah. I think Mikasa's going to kill her. She'll probably kill a big. She probably might kill a big character too, like a fan favorite, and that might make Eren go crazy and attack her or whatever. Like a lot of things can happen. See, the thing about the next chapter is that it really does end on a huge cliffhanger.
Yes.
So we really don't know what's going on, but I think maybe that Historia might die.
Yeah.
And of course, Ymir will probably get word of it and get pissed off, and shit happens, and I don't like.
Yeah, and like I said, I'd argued against it for that very reason, like because there's still room for her and Ymir's story, but there is a possibility of it. I don't know how likely it is, but it could happen.
Yeah, well, let's see. Did I say anything else? Yeah, I just think that Historia has been so like the comment sections don't even like her anymore. And you think I was being harsh on her? The comment sections are really ripping her apart, and it's because Historia it's nothing really likable about her if you think about it. She's just she's a tool basically. That's what they said in the sense that she's very easily manipulable. I mean, she's switching sides like how many times already? I mean,
in this chapter alone.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, she switched back. She's kind of with Eren now. She's not. She's kind of with her father, but now she's doing her own side. Then she was with her sister, and then she doesn't. She can't make up her mind. But yeah, and then at first she was also part of the
You're starting to break up a little bit. Starting to break up a bit. Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulty right there. So there's going to be a little bit of a break in the conversation at this point. But at this point, go ahead and you're saying you think Historia is going to die because.
Okay, so I think that Historia is going to die is because if she becomes the queen, like it would be so easy to talk.
Easy to what?
She dies, then they wouldn't have a puppet ruler, and they would be they wouldn't gain the people. At least that's what they say they need.
True. So
it would cause a lot more drama.
Yeah, her dying would cause the most problem, which is definitely an argument for it to happen.
Yeah, and of course, just knowing the way Attack on Titan works, I think it might happen, just because it would cause so many issues, and so much drama. Although to be honest with you, I think at this point there's so many things going on at once. The Titan shifters, the Ape Titan. I think this story kind of does need some closure because I think that if we have too much going on at once, Attack on Titan won't be able to regulate itself and keep track of itself. So.
Right, and that's one thing this story is good about. Like it's got the different plot lines, but it hasn't really like lost anything here. It hasn't. Like you can track what's been going on here if you've been paying attention.
Yeah. I will say this one thing. I just realized. I was trying to remember. Remember when he was talking about his sister and being pregnant?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's Levi, the kid?
He did grow up in the slums, so I think you've got a very good shot at that.
And of course, Kenny was the one who took care of him, so he probably found him.
Yeah, because I was trying to think like there's significance in her mention. Yeah, I couldn't think of what it was, but yeah, I think you're right.
Because
I
he
mean,
mentioned Mikasa's family, and he obviously mentioned Levi, be the last two left, basically.
right, and like you mentioned Shiganshia, that's definitely Mikasa's.
Yeah. So, obviously, I think that's Levi. I think it's pretty. I'm pretty certain about it.
Yep.
Right.
All right, so I think you got everything covered on here. Was there? I said I got my own little off-base theory out there. Like I said, I think there is still, like I said, my main thought that this all happened because Papa Jaeger messed with it is off, but I think there is still some logic to it. Like the coordinate power did offer some degree of protection against the Titans and the city and maybe even the shifters to a lesser degree.
Um, I will say that Aaron's being way too hard on himself. I mean, almost none of it's his fault. And as much as I understand that what he's trying to do, I don't agree with it. I don't think. I think there should be another way. I think they should at least think about it. Cause I mean, look at Aaron. He's such in a very poor state. I just think there has to be another way. This is just it's too sad. Even if the story gets quote unquote better, I don't think I'll like it. And also that what I want to happen, and I don't. This is way too cheesy and a little bit of cop out, and it would actually probably make the story worse. But I kind of just want this because I feel so bad for Aaron that
Yeah.
Krista regains her consciousness and somehow escapes with Aaron, and Mikasa and the gang. That's probably not gonna happen, and it's really cheesy. But I really do want it to happen because at least then it makes me like Krista more because then at least for once she decides to fight back and save her friend
Yeah.
and
And
try to figure out another way to beat the Titans basically.
yeah, this might be that they said this might be her turning point. Maybe as a Titan she can get control of herself again. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if she's got the willpower for it. You never know.
By the way, some people are arguing that that Aaron might be a royal family member because of it. They think that his mom is a part of the Rice family, like a branch of it or something.
It's
Some people, some it's possible, and it's also the only way for Aaron to still be important. And I want to say
Oh,
this one thing.
if that's the case, then I'm willing to bet Papa Jaeger knew about. What is his father's name anyway? I cannot remember.
I don't remember, but
Okay.
I was about to say that. Yeah, why did if is his dad knew about those powers being only allowed to have a Rice family member? Why did he choose to pass it on to Aaron? Did he know that maybe I can do it, but Aaron you can?
Right. Or maybe like Aaron was just like the only choice at the time. That could be a possibility too.
I mean, the only choice. I mean, he knew that Aaron. I mean, well, why? Because Aaron wouldn't know what he's doing. If you think about it, the coordinate would be would be in danger because Aaron might unleash his Titan abilities at any moment's notice. No one would know, and that
Well, I'm thinking I mean literally the only person who was around him at the time to be able to take the power whatsoever as he died.
why would Aaron's dad want to pass on the power though? If because
Well,
he's smart.
if he's already dying for some reason, for example.
But he wasn't. He looked fine to me.
Well, I said we don't know the exact circumstances of it just yet, beyond the fact that Aaron remembers having eaten his father
well, I mean,
and also getting injected with something.
we saw the figure of his dad, and we saw what his dad was doing, and kind of like right before seeing Aaron again, and right after he killed the Rice, and he obviously don't remember that Titan shifters do get regenerative powers. So I mean, it didn't look like he was dying from like a mass, like half his body being blown away, and it
Right.
looked like he wasn't. There was no reason for him to get attacked during that moment, during that time, because he was in incognito during that time. But I think okay, and this theory just literally came up right now
Okay.
because I remember that, but I think his dad realized that he himself could not do anything about it because he could not unleash the full power, but he knew, I think maybe he might have known that his wife was a Rice, possibly. I don't know
Yeah.
about the Rice thing yet, but that's what
Well,
everyone seems to be
if
theorizing.
if that theory is right, that may even explain why he knew about it in the first place.
Like I knew about what?
About the Titan shifter powers and about the coordinate.
Well, we don't know. Maybe he might have come from the village because he seems to have coordinated everything with the other three Titans, the colossal Titans. So where his information comes from, we don't know. Although there might have been a reason for why he married the Rice, married Aaron's mom,
Right.
and of course he found that he realized that maybe that was I don't know, maybe the real reason for that, or maybe he realized like Aaron was a Rice, and then he's like, yeah, I can give it to Aaron because think about it, if um if his dad ate Frida, then he would have known that Aaron wouldn't have been able to unleash the full power unless he was a royal family. So there would be no point in giving it to Aaron if not only is Aaron young, so you
Yeah.
don't know what he's gonna do with it. Two, has no information about anything. He didn't know anything. Three is not a Rice. I mean,
There is one other possibility I can think of, but go ahead first.
and of course there's no reason to make your son be in total moral danger because everyone's gonna be after him. if he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, if he can't unleash his full power, right? There'd be no
Right.
reason to do it. It would make it makes no sense if he because he would have known. He would have known that Aaron wouldn't have been able to unleash his full power unless he was a rice, and yet he still gave it to him. Why? Because he
Well,
probably
there is one reason I can think of why Aaron would be a choice, even with all that in mind, or if he didn't know all that.
because he's the main character.
Well, that, but also because he hates the Titans. He wants to stop the Titans more than anybody. Like he was spouting that when he was a kid. If he held true to that, the coordinate would be just the thing to give it. Like even the other shifters I remember were freaked out by the idea that Aaron was the one who had the power.
Maybe, but I feel like there should be more reason going into it for a guy who's giving him such power. I mean,
True.
And keep in mind that Aaron's dad is mature, had a lot of information. I mean, he could have done a lot with the powers himself, right? So,
Yep.
I'm just thinking, it just seems so likely. And also, and the fact that he's the main character. I mean, I don't want to do that cop out, but I mean, if you think about it, if Aaron is the one who wins in the end, if Aaron's the one who pulls out an Ichigo, then from Bleach, by the way, if you guys don't know, if he's the one who has to be the one to win because he's the main character, then that is the only reason that can be explained, that he in fact is a rice. And because if you think about it, what powers doesn't he have? He was able to unleash some of the powers, right? I mean, they were never really clear what the line is like between guys who don't have the blood who has the power and guys who do. So, I mean, I'm just thinking here, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my theory right there, right in the end.
That Aaron is a rice, or at least connected to the rice.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, I think he might be onto something with that. Like I said, you said it was in the comment list, or?
Yeah, the comments, manga stream, almost a lot of people seem to be like pro with that. So I don't know where they're getting it from, but
yeah.
They seem to be getting it from somewhere at least, right? Because if so many people are trying to agree with it, or maybe one guy just happened to point it out, and everyone's just like, oh, that actually sounds good, like a good idea.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't see any references, but if any guys listening, do check it up. Maybe they're onto something here. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there could definitely be some logic to that, like the way it's going on here. I'll have to check the TV Tropes Wild Mess guessing section on Titan, see what they say about that, because they sometimes have some good theories on there too.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that gives us everything we need to do here. That was Attack on Titan, chapter 65.
Yeah, 65.
Yep. Here. Next month, we'll cover Attack on Titan 66 when it comes out. We'll see how this cliffhanger ends, because this was quite a bit of a cliffhanger, because we don't know which direction it's going to go in just yet.
Krista!
Yeah. I've been calling her Story because I think that's kind of what her name's meant to be now. But anyway. And then, in the meantime, next week, One Piece and Bleach should kick up again. And there'll probably be another Kami got killed somewhere in between, too.
Yeah, have we decided to do that?
Well, that's right, we were still discussing that. I figured we were going to when it came around again. Well, okay. Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, announcement, guys. We're doing a Kami got killed.
Yeah, we're gonna add a Kami got killed to our list next time the chapter comes out for it.
We're expanding, guys. We're expanding. This is good.
Yep.
So yeah, any last thoughts on the chapter?
Nope, I think I got everything covered. Like I said, my theory, the source of my theory is off, but I think there is some logic to it, like how they can use it to keep control of the city and all that.
Okay. I like my theory.
Yeah, I like your theory too. Like at least the Aaron is a rice one. That could definitely be something to that. So.
And to correct my previous statement, Historia.
You. Con.
He better. Canada. Tetsuo.
Hey now, don't go blaming Canada. That's South Park's job.
Wait, Canada, I said.
Oh. Okay, it sounded like Canada, like the country.
Oh, I don't know. Canada, you know where it's from, right? Canada. Tetsuo.
Okay, Akira, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the first one. I know Tetsuo, though.
Yeah, Canada is the other guy.
Yeah. Been a long, long, long time since I last saw Akira.
Yeah.
Like a sci-fi channel thing they were running it on.
Yep.
Anyway, like I said, that's our Attack on Titan. We'll continue One Piece and Bleach once they start coming out again. And we'll likely be doing a Comic Kill next time it comes around.
Alright.
Meantime, I hope everyone... And on my own videos, I'll probably have a few more Shovel Knight videos to get out before the week is done. So, I've been enjoying that game. I really have. Anyway, would you take us away?
Alright, guys.